Okay. I tried to bribe co-host today. You see how successful I was in my bribing? Not very. Smokey, Sandy, somebody. Everybody's just standing there looking at me. Oh well. So, I've discovered there are 14, what did I say? 14. There are 14 books in the series. I own 10. There's 2 ebooks. There's 2 books I would have to get if I decide to go that far. And there's also a couple of guys that were not included, and I didn't realize they were not included till I got to the end of the book, and I realized those names were missing. So anyways, welcome to the DLU's book series. I'm Christina, K-I-S-T-I-N-A. This is where I read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, no fancy stuff going on here. So, we are talking about Monica Mccarty's Highland series, and I'll have to email her. I think she's still alive. I'll have to double check. Yeah, because I'm reading her other books. There's another series of hers I'm reading, I think. I need to check that out. And Selena, naked guy on the cover. So anyways, if you could hit the like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Come here, co-host. Come here. Come to the old hands. No, I'm gonna stay 2 inches from your hands. So, Robert the Bruce, was, probably known as Robert the Bruce, was king of the Scots from 1306 till his death in 1329. And he had, this book is gathering a group of men, to be a Mission Impossible team. A gang of 10 men. So there are 10 books. This is the chief's book. He's going to be the leader of the gang or the group. And our next book is Hawk. Naked guy on the cover. Ranger. Naked guy on the cover. I can't help it. Viper. Naked guy on the cover. Repeat. The Saint. Repeat. The Recruit. Repeat. The Hunter. You know? Guy's got abs and a tattoo. Could have at least put them in some plaid or something. The Arrow. And Striker, book 10. And there's also 7. There's a knight and there's an ebook knight and an ebook rogue. But we are missing 2 of the guys. So anyways, William Wallace is deceased. We all saw that movie. If you it's the one movie where the actual star dies. I mean, it dies horrifically. But anyways, he's gathering a secret army of 12 men. From what I can tell, only solitary knight among them. I have already I did this wrong. I am sorry. Let's see if I can find it. My secret army of 12 men, from what I can tell, only a solitary knight among them. I already have knights. What I don't have is men who know how to fight like pirates. Highlanders, he says. What better place to find a pirate than Norse-blooded Highlanders of the Western Isles? Exactly. The number of men is reflective of the fighting style, quick, bold attacks of small teams, using stealth and surprise to strike terror in the enemy. But why secret? Fear can be a powerful weapon, and mystery will only increase the fear in the heart of the enemy. Are they real or are they truth? It also makes them harder to stop if you don't know who you are looking for. Come here, co-host. Fine. Run! So, the first guy he chooses... Now, do you have to name everybody the same name? And I said this with the fantasies, but it's kind of true with the Ireland and the Scottish books too. But this guy, our hero. Oh, look, a co-host. Oh my God, the co-host. They decided to show her face. A co-host. So this guy's name is TOR MOD. His twin brother is TOR QUIL. Oh, look, there's a ham. So, his brother, so we go to the TOR's house, and his brother, I don't need my information over everywhere. We'll just take this off till later. His brother has secretly eloped with this girl, and they're all pissed off that he secretly eloped with this girl. It was a love match, but it was the wrong, like, enemy clan type situation. And so the brother is he's got his, there's another book over there, but it's not part of the series, so we don't see too much of the brother. He shows up a little bit, and he has a very, 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 very small role. It's like 2-3 pages tops for him. So, Tor receives this missive that he's going to be in charge of this group of men. So he ends up, with some back and forth dialogue, he ends up agreeing to be in charge of these group of men. And they're gathering the group of men, and he's at this party or whatever, and there needs to be a marriage between his clan and this other clan. And this guy who is very abusive to his girls, Christina and Beatrix. And it was so weird having a person named Christina in the book, but she spells her name with a C. So, are you leaving? Is that it? I don't see you anymore? So she's leaving. So anyways, that was our cuteness for the video, sorry. So he's at this meeting, and this guy says, you're gonna marry one of my daughters, preferably the older one, but the older one really, 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 really wants to go into the nunnery. She wants no part of men. So the younger one says she'll do it, and the father is one of those abusive peoples, and abuses of daughters. If daughters don't do it, he beats them. So they're kind of, the one girl agrees to do this if the other girl gets to go to the nunnery. So those conditions are hammered up, but the guy says he doesn't want to get married. Tor doesn't want to get married at all. He has no reason to get married. His wife died years ago. He's got sons. He's got heirs. So, I was gonna say, so the father decides that his daughter's gonna get in the guy's bed. The old Regency trick. You see this? I can't tell you how many Regency novels. The parents make the girl, or the girl decides herself, she's gonna get in the guy's bed, and they're gonna be caught in a compromising position. But, so when Tor gets to his bed, he thinks the owner of the place sent him one of the, one of those girls to fulfill his needs for those evening as an extra, thing, hospitality thing. And he's mostly through the situation when he does this thing, and he's like, oh good God, it's a virgin. And all the lights come on, the doors, well, figuratively, torches, I guess. And everybody barges in, and it's revealed that he was with this virgin. And so he's kind of pissed off that he got tricked into this marriage. So they do the marriage thing, and he takes her to his castle, and he's like, bye. Drops her off. Bye. And yes, are you back? Did you want something? So he's training all these men. and they're performing. This is all got to be hush hush, top secret. There's also this lady, Janet, who provides a little relationship angst. She's this former guy's, she's a widow, and she cooks for the men. She can be trusted, and he's known her since, Tor's known her since he was like a little kid. So he trusts her, and she cooks for the men, she provides the meals on these secret missions. So Janet also goes over. So she's like, how come Janet gets to go? How come I can't go? I'm the wife. How come are you having an affair with that one? You know, this little relationship angst there. And he's like, no, leave it. Just shush. You need to trust me that I am not in her bed. So she's, woe is me. I gotta stay here alone. I'm in this castle full of strangers, blah, blah, blah. So she starts to clean the place and fix it all up and starts with this and that and this and that. And he comes home and he walks in and he really doesn't notice some stuff, but then he notices tapestries on the wall and he doesn't lose it, but it's really, you can tell that it's really, really upsetting him. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, were these, they were in the trunks and they were in mint condition and I thought I'd put them up and help pretty up the place and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, no, they were his mother's. And his mother and father were killed in a raid when he was a very young child. So we get through that, and hold on a second, this is driving me crazy. So he's training these guys to do all these secret missions. And I just realized that some of the people that he's training don't match the list of men. There's one, Colyne. He's not one of the men. And Sir Alex Seaton, younger brother of Bruce's close companion and brother-in-law to good Sir Christopher, he's mentioned in the training, and he's mentioned at the end of the book, but he doesn't have a book. So maybe something happens to him in a future book, we don't know. So it's mostly about him training these guys, and the two of them getting to know each other, and her going through her woe is me situation, and him trying to assure her that, she's good. He comes home. Now, I've got a couple of notes here. Yes, ma'am. I've got a couple of notes. There's a couple of times in the book where he comes home and he goes to bed with her, and I eat bed. And after they finish their bedroom activities, he goes and sleeps in the hall with his men, because that is his tradition, to sleep in the hall with his men. And I'm sitting there going, who in their right mind gets out of a warm bed with their wife to go sleep with their men in the hall because it's tradition and you're chief? But your men would understand because you're effing married now. Capiche? They would get it. They're gonna spend the nights with their wives. They're gonna be like, oh, I got a bedroom now. I'm gonna spend the night with my wife in private. But not this idiot. For the first, couple days, couple months that they're together, he sleeps in the hall with his men. And then he goes off for weeks at a time and doesn't tell her where he's going or when he'll be back or anything, because it's all hush, hush, secret, secret, secret. Then, she reveals to him that she can do something that very, very few women can do during this juncture. Except, of course, if you have not gone through my Sky O'Malley books, please go through my Sky O'Malley books. There's 7 or 8 of them. Actually, I think we do a few more than that. Go through. I'll have to make a list. Beatrice Small, Delia Reed's book series, Sky O'Malley. There is no better heroine for this time period than Sky O'Malley. Absolutely, hand to God, she is the best. And I also do a Sky O'Malley versus Claire, Fraser, Beecham, Randall, Fraser. So she just finds his account books, and his account books are horrendous. Stuff is not being recorded properly. And she can read and write and do mathematics, which is rare for females, except for Sky. Sky can do all of it. So she spends quite a long time fixing his books, and she's so proud. And she wants to present him with this. And he was aware of the situation, and he was working on it to use that to fire said person. And now she's fixed it and erased all the information that he was going to use to fire the clerk. Because he was suspicious of the clerk. So he's a little ticked off at that, and she's a little hurt at that. And then she follows them one night and discovers their secret training location. And he's a little ticked off that she's discovered their little secret location, and what if she was followed. And later on, Tor also discusses with his men, and the light bulbs go off that someone in his estate has been, every time he goes off to training, there's been a raid on his estate. And he's like, the timing of this is suspicious. There's got to be somebody in the estate that's feeding the enemy the information. So he's got to go investigate that and discover what's going on there. And in the meantime, Christina decides that she's discovered who the real traitor is. She's a little on the wrong side. And she's going to go run off and tell her husband. But when she runs off and tells her husband this information, she's followed and attacked. And when she's attacked and knocked out, it gives the attacker enough time to run away so he can get the information where he needs it to go. He's like, okay, she led me to the Peoples, and before she gets to the Peoples, I'm going to knock her out so the Peoples are not aware that she was headed that way, and that's going to give me time to go tell the bad guys what's going on here. And the good guys figure it out. So she's got a big, huge case of the guilt. She's led the bad guys to the secret location. So, her husband sends her home, and him and his group of men go after the bad guy and try to catch the bad guy before the bad guy gets the information to where it needs to go. So she goes back to the castle, and they're like proceeding back, and she's decided that she's disgraced herself. She's disgraced her husband. He doesn't love her. She's tried all these things to get his attention. She's done all these things wrong. She's gonna run. He had made a vow to her that if their marriage did not work out, he would allow her to go to the nunnery with her sister. So she makes the plans, and she goes off with his men to go to the nunnery. And the English come upon them and pirate their ship. They have nothing to give these guys at all. The English don't care. They kill all the guys. They're like, well, there was nothing here, but it was fun to have this fight. And one of the guys is one of the guys that he has infiltrated the other side. And he says, "Oh, this don't kill this girl. She might be worth a couple pennies. She's the wife of this other guy, and we might be able to use her." So they take her back to the enemy camp, and while she's at the enemy camp, they leave her alone at some point, and she's like, He goes off to do something. Christina frowned until she saw the open parchment on the table. The hairs on her arms stood on end. She couldn't believe it. He'd left the missive. Heart pounding, she leaned over the table and turned the documents around to her face. She scanned the top of the page, first noting that it was written in French. She grasped, reading it again to make sure she'd done so correctly. It was from Red, Comyn, to King Edward, informing him of treason by Bruce. The proof attached herein. She quickly lifted the top piece of parchment and saw a sealed indenture in Latin below. It was detailed, but it appeared to be a pact between Comyn and Bruce against King Edward, and now Comyn meant to betray Bruce, using their bond as proof of treason. And she decides that she must tell her husband immediately, and at the same time her husband's group of men attack the castle and they rescue her, and she informs him of what she read and that they must go see Bruce. Robert Bruce, Earl of Carrick and Lord of Annandale, listened to Christina's story with increasing incredibility, and then with barely repressed anger that he didn't quite question her tale was confirmation that such a dangerous document as the bond he signed with Comyn existed. "I'll kill him," he said. "I knew he could not be trusted." "Then why did you?" Tor asked. The lapse in judgment didn't seem consistent with what he had seen so far from Scotland's would-be king. Bruce had surprised him immediately. Tor recognized in him the one trait guaranteed to impress any Highlander. Bruce was a warrior. Unlike Scottish noblemen, he looked like he would be just as comfortable on the battlefield as in Parliament. And so they have to send after the messengers. And I love the author's note. I love author's notes at the end of the books. So you'll have to read. We're reading this for the history. We're reading this for the chronology. And there's a romance on the side. And in the olden days, I used to go for these. I mean, there's entire chapters in here on the bedroom. I skipped those. In the beginning, I would read them. Nowadays, I just skip them. Most of the main characters in the novel are loosely based on actual historical figures. Tor was the first chief and progenitor of Clan MacLeod, and great father 6 times over of Rory MacLeod from Highlander Untamed. We do have that series over there. In the early 14th century, however, the clans as we think of them today were in their infancy. Even the term Highlander is probably atronaticized. 2 branches of Clan MacLeod, the MacLeods of Harris and MacLeods of Lewis, are known as Sol, Siol, Thormoid, and that's Torquil and Tormod come from, and she tells the whole thing. So there you go. First guy naked on the cover, and where is, never a book when you need it. They're all here. There we go. So, I'll see you tomorrow for the Hawk. Stay tuned. Hey, Selena, naked guy on the cover. I could put these up here. I don't know why I didn't think about that sooner. This is awesome. I should try this. Oh, don't forget, Fridays, if you like this book, you might like that book. Star Trek Next Generation recaps on Friday. Star Trek Voyager recaps on Friday. J.D. Robb, Eve Dallas, character spoilerizations on Saturday. Unboxing on Sundays. If Then Mondays. And of course, my daily book reviews. Oh, and at 7:45 every night on the D. Louise Book Series channel, we're reading a chapter of Echo and the Bone, written in my own heart's blood. Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone. Depending on if the next Outlander book comes out or not this year, we may go on with that one, or we may go back and start with Outlander. Have a good one. Oh, there's a co-host. She's back. Do you want to say goodbye? Where are you? You're here someways. All right. Have a good one.